wanna see your face again. Looking at your picture now, should have been my lover. Oh, girl, you gotta give me a chance. See, I ain't gonna treat you like a mother, man. I'ma make sure that I'll never hurt you. Right now, I'm giving up all of the girls that I met in the club. Right now, I'ma turn it up. I'ma be the one to make you fall in love. Right now, I'm gonna give you what you.
Hi, my name is Aaron Brownwell, and you're watching I'm Just Saying. This is a show about relationships with common couples. You know, we all have these preachers, therapists, and all of these soothsayers that say, you know, can tell you what's wrong with your relationship, but we're the ones that deal with it every day, in and out, and we're the ones that, you know what the problems are. Today, I happen to have 4 authors from different books, different levels, but there's relationships involved in every single one of them, and we're going to talk with them about I'm Just Saying, and I'll let them introduce themselves and their book.
Hi, my name is Black Ruby, and I am the proud author of Bitch Get Your Shit Right. This book was written in 2011 to help young women learn how to set standards for themselves, and for women to also know that the norm of what's happening with reality television and these type of behaviors that are being broadcast, that it's really unacceptable. And I would just hope that you would be interested in my book. I can be found on Instagram under Black Ruby. I can be found on Facebook under Black Ruby. Thank you.
And my name is Marilyn Skeet. I'm currently finishing up a book that I'm writing called Truly in Love. And it's basically, the concept of the book is to tell the differences about what being in love is compared to loving someone. And it's also a love story about a couple that go through this to find out that their current relationships weren't showing them what being in love with a person was truly about. And there's also chapters on different stages in relationships and types of relationships. And basically that's what the book is going to be. So it'll be on the market soon.
Hi, my name is Jacqueline R. Banks. I am the author of A Fine Piece of Chocolate, Righteous Sisters Crossing Over to the Wild Side. It's already been published, and what this book talks about, it really chronicles the lives of 3 women, Kim, Nina, and Sandra, church women who haven't learned how to set boundaries, and they've had their hearts broken. In that book I have nuggets of wisdom known as chocolatisms that teach women how to grow after a relationship fails, particularly when they've gotten involved with a fine piece of chocolate. My book could be found on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and there's my website, chocolateflavorlove.com. Flavor is spelled F-L-A-V-A, love, L-U-V, chocolateflavorlove.com. Thank you.
My name is Mr. DeNorval Parks, and I'm the author of 2 books. One is entitled Sheltered and Sheltered Again. Sheltered talks about a young man, me, raising 3 babies in the New York City shelter system. The relationship is a man raising 3 babies and the love I have for them. My goal with my book is I'm trying to educate people that what's going on in the New York City shelter system. And on the same token, I'm trying to encourage more black fathers to be responsible for the children that they bring into this world, which is the first book. My second book is entitled Sheltered Again. Sheltered Again is like a spin-off from the first book, but it talks about my life as a father raising 2 boys, going back into the shelter system, which was for a shorter period of time. This is more of a motivational, uplifting book, a book on letting people who are downing out, who are in the shelter, who are living on the streets, or whatever your negative situation may be, just letting them know that if you love yourself, you have God in your heart, and goals and aspirations, you can always reach the top.
Okay, so we have four people here with four different outlooks on what the problems are in society today, and one of them is like, okay, ladies, what's the definition of a good man?
Well, what I would say a definition of a good man is a man who's continually trying to educate himself on how to be a good man. And that's not necessarily found through a formal education, but it's found through ways that he could try to improve himself over and over. Some men don't like to read, but for the ones that do, the ones that are always trying to find books that teach them how to be a good father, how to be a good man, how to be a good listener, how to be a good friend, and who takes pride in that knowledge, takes pride in how he could help his person, his spouse, so that he can become a helpmeet. Someone who is very much into the kids and don't necessarily leave the kids off to just the woman, but he's the one that's showing up at the parent teachers conference. He's the one that's at the doctor's appointment. He's the one that's at home, and he's the one that's also kind of lightening the burden for his wife, so that so that she doesn't have to go out and work as hard. Because it is a 50-50 situation that makes a 100% relationship. So I think that that's a good man, a man that's constantly trying to improve himself over time.
Okay.
I think a good man is basically a man that wants to succeed in life, and that doesn't mean financially. It means succeed in his relationships. He's always striving to make it better in his job, his career, his ambitions in life. He's looking forward to the next level that I can take this relationship, this job, my life. And he's always trying to get to a higher status. And I think that's what makes a good man. Always trying to to improve himself and just, working on that.
Yes, well, to me, a good man is a man who could display empathy and understand his partner's point of view, not just see it through the lens of being a man. And also, as has been said already, someone who is into self-improvement, somebody who's not just contented with the status quo, but they could set goals and they will move forward and overcome obstacles. They will not blame anybody else for whatever failures they may experience. That's very important. Do not play the blame game. Own your responsibility and just do what you have to do to succeed, and also be an empathetic, supporting partner to whoever is in your life.
Okay.
There's a lot of there's a lot of parts and components that comes into making a man, but a man is basically someone who loves themselves, because you have to love yourself before you could go on and love anyone else and take care of anyone else. A man who's involved in his community, involved in his family, and just being a rock within the family to lift up his family and to be there for his woman. That's very important as far as growing is concerned.
Okay. What's the definition of a good woman?
The definition of a good woman is a woman who places her man above all things except God, but who looks to her man to be the guide and the leader of the family, because I believe, in which I wrote in my book as well, that, we are all given rightful places in our life. Everybody has a place, everybody has a position that they should play, and I think that a good woman is someone who supports her man. That's why we were created, to be the help meet, to meet the need of the man, and to let the man be a man and not emasculate him, but let him be a man in his role, and let him take over without feeling threatened or feeling like we're in a competition. A good woman is, there's really no definition, I would think, for a good woman. I think a good woman proves who she is by being committed and being faithful and being loyal and being just a good role model to other people that, who sees her, and other people who she comes in contact with. She makes a difference in the lives of other people as well as her family. And she's to be admired, just from the things that she's doing. And I don't think that it has anything to do with her work. I don't think it has anything to do with her level of education. I think it has to do with how she devotes herself to just God and nature and her family. And I think that, when we as women make a difference, I really think that's what it is. I think that if we make a difference in the lives of other people that that are viewing us, I think that's what's important, to be able to help somebody else and to make a difference with our children and our family. I think that's what's a good woman.
Okay.
And also, just to piggyback off of that, especially the part that you said, a good woman has to be successful, like I said, a man has to be. But sometimes women aren't able to balance that. They put the man down if they feel he's not at a level that they think he should be at, or if he's not at her level financially and things like that. We have to learn to respect our men and let them take their position in our lives as our protector and the person that is going to look after us. And that's not necessarily, again, financial. So I think that's very important. And we have to learn to respect and love ourselves so that can be received to us, because a lot of women think they respect themselves and they don't. They do a lot of things that don't, they may say things or dress certain ways that don't deserve respect. And I think, a lot of women need to look at that and say, I got to respect myself so I can receive that as well. And I think that's a good woman.
Okay, a good woman. Besides considering myself a good woman, I would say a good woman has to have boundaries and have clear-cut goals as to how she's going to live her life. She cannot let all different voices come into her ear telling her how to live or how to dress and all like that. She has to be able to think for herself, respect her mate, allow him to be the man of the house and lovingly know how to give suggestions. If she's a mom, to be an approachable mom where her children are not afraid to come to her with whatever situation that they're in. While money is not the most important thing, money does drive our decisions, even where we live. Knowing how to balance that checkbook, to be able to be responsible with what she has been given, managing things appropriately, helps to make someone a good woman.
I think a good woman has everything in perspective. She knows her role in the family, and she takes on that role willingly. She is there for her man, because it's very important to have a woman who's that concrete, because a lot of times men need that. And if that's not there, if we're missing that, and the woman doesn't provide that, then we wind up doing a lot of crazy things ourselves. So a good woman has strength. She's there for the family. She's there for the kids, and she just helps a man. Keeps him in perspective. That's very important.
Okay. All right. How do we find true love without telling the woman, "Bitch, get your shit right"? Be sheltered and find that fine piece of chocolate. How do we do that?
How do we tell them without bitch get your shit right?
Well, how do we tell them? If you got to tell them to get your shit right, how do you do it?
Well, since you used the title of my book, I'm going to say this. In Bitch Get Your Shit Right, it's actually a self-help book that's designed to have women who could only respond to this type of language. Because we have so many people that, so many young women, let me say this, and it's not just young women what I'm finding. This book relates to, like I said, women from the womb to the grave, of all different ages. It's women that find that the word bitch is appropriate. So, in teaching a woman really how to get her shit right is by living and being a living example. I once wrote to this young woman who I said to her, when you walk in a room, do the room light up when you walk in, or do you need the light bulb to come on so that people can see you? And she said, well, I need the light bulb. See, that's the problem. The majority of women, they're not walking in a room shining. If somebody's not looking at you and trying to figure out what's special about you, if somebody doesn't feel, honored by your presence, if somebody don't feel moved or feel changed because you've come in an environment or an atmosphere, then you need to get your shit right. And getting your shit right is that's not one particular thing. It's not just the way I look, the way I dress, the money that I have, the education that I have. It's the difference that you make. It's really a God-given gift that's inside of you that when you come around people, people want to know, what is it about this person that makes the room shine? It's a level of confidence that comes when you walk in. It's knowing that, yeah, my shit is together, my shit is right. And as a result of that, then I can make a difference in somebody else's life. This book definitely touches on many different subjects. It touches on relationships, it touches on money, it touches on broken relationships between children and their parents, whether it be the woman telling the kid, you're no good and your father's no good, and all of these different things. We choose all of the stuff that come in our life, and as a result of the choices that are in our life, this is the repercussions that come with it. So if you make bad decisions, you need to get your shit right. So I don't think we have to tell women, bitch, get your shit right. I don't think the word bitch is appropriate. I think that if most people look at this book, most women look at this book and they don't immediately get offended, they need to get their shit right. Because there's nothing positive about the word bitch. And that's what I wrote in this book. So if most women are not saying, oh my God, she wrote a book, bitch, get her shit right, bitch, you need to get your shit right. Because there's nothing positive about that word.
Absolutely.
There is nothing positive about this word. And I don't write that this word is positive.
Absolutely.
I really don't. I write that if you are getting on the phone and somebody is saying, hey, bitch, hang up.
That's right.
If you walking down the street or some man is referring to you as bitch, leave him alone. This book is not about honoring this word. But I just find it's unfortunate that if I would have wrote, young ladies, you should act nice, nobody would buy my book. But all of y'all are buying my book because bitch need to get her shit right. And it's written in a language where, I'm sorry, the young people understand it. You will hear fuck, damn, shit, asshole, this, that. That's what this book is about, because our youth, they're gravitating towards all of these videos, let's pop and ride and all of this stuff that they're doing, these naked videos, the strip clubs are filled, the churches are empty. Let's just keep it real. Bitches need to get their shit right. I'm just saying.
So what about true love?
Well, in True Love, it basically tells you, it's kind of the concept of, are you just settling in your relationships in life? You just coming across a person, whether you just need to have a husband or a wife, you want to start a family, and over time you just develop this love for this person, because the chemistry was there, you were attracted to the individual, and you find, okay, they got a good job, I got a good job, we can make this happen. Or are you trying to find that soulmate, that spirituality, that connection you have with someone, that you figure, we get each other, we just can look at each other and know what we're pretty much thinking. And it just kind of shows the difference between why a lot of us go into relationships, and some go into it for different reasons. Men may feel pressured from a woman that they're in a relationship with to settle down and get married. Women feel pressured to be married because it's the status quo, and women need to be married, especially if you're having children or you want to have children. So it starts off, speaking about those things, and then it goes into different stages of, should you even get married? Is that a requirement in life? Just because you're in a relationship, is that mandatory? Is that a necessity? What type of relationship do you have? You have a committed relationship. Is your relationship complicated? And that falls under a lot of different definitions. So basically, other things, are you still in the honeymoon phase and what that entails and things like that. And, it just goes into to talk about those different things in the relationship, and kind of shows you what the differences are. And if you don't have it, to how to get it, or how to recognize it when it does cross your path. So
I'm going to skip over to Mr. Parks to find out about how not to be sheltered, and then we'll get back to finding that fine piece of chocolate.
Okay.
How not to be sheltered. I would say that the best way not to be sheltered is just try to have a nice, strong foundation, a strong family. A lot of reasons why a lot of us are sheltered because we come from broken homes and broken relationships. The relationship breaks up, and if the man is most likely, a lot of times, he's not going to do his job. Then the woman finds herself stuck with the children. If she comes from a broken family, she's not going to find too many places to find shelter. because of the broken family factor and not getting along with whatever individuals in the family, so they wind up being sheltered. It's very important that we have a strong family and a strong foundation. Because when you have a strong family and you run into issues within your relationship, you'll be able to, go to a cousin's house or go to a family member's house, or instead of just running into walls and not getting along with somebody and wind up going into the shelter. So it's very important that we have a strong family and a strong foundation to fall back on.
Okay, and then how do we find that fine piece of chocolate?
Well, first you have to love yourself. One of the things I say in the section of the book that deals with what I call chocolatisms, which are nuggets of wisdom. Let's say a woman is into self-improvement. She's improving her mind, going back to school, taking care of her body, being fit. And let's say she gets with a guy who may not have that much going for him. She tries to have an intellectual conversation. He gets offended. He doesn't understand the way she talks. And sometimes when people are like that, they get defensive and say, you think you're better than somebody. And my thing is, if he says you think you're better than me, you probably are better than him. And you know what? You know right then and there that that's a red flag, and you need to move on. And again, to piggyback off of what my brother said, yes, having a strong family unit. In one of the characters in the book, a young lady named Kim, who was part of a unfortunately it's a disappearing family structure in the inner city, and that's the nuclear family. And her father was murdered, unfortunately, in the story. But she had a daddy who showed her the right way. When the one part of the book that deals with when her father came home from Bloomingdale's with a manicuring kit, and he told her the difference between being polished and refined and just looking fast for the moment. He was able to help her to realize that there's a way to set a standard. So we need to go back to those ways, respecting our elders and listening to them when they bring forth wisdom, because it could save us from a lot of pain. And I deal with that in A Fine Piece of Chocolate.
Okay. So one of the problems that was mentioned is the family structure and role models. Why is it so hard to find the proper role models out there?
It's hard because a lot of people are looking at the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nicki Minaj is not my role model. I think she's a great rapper, let me say that. But she's not my role model. And you have people that's even my age, 40 plus, that thinks that people that's rapping, people that's in the music industry, just because a person makes a lot of money, that's not my role model. My role model is somebody who can sincerely be happy with themselves. See, I could take off my shoes at any given time, and I could walk on the beach and feel the sand between my feet, and I could look up and I could see God in the water, because I know it's only God that created something like that. I could see God in nature when the birds are flying. I can enjoy the trees. I can find the beauty in small things. And I'm not insatiable where I just have to keep wanting more and more and more to a fault. So my role model really is people who are happy with themselves. People who legitimately are comfortable, know that where they are is where they're supposed to be, and they're continually striving to do more. That's the mom and pop that's owning the store down the block. That's the person on the corner, that's really struggling hard to be somebody other than what they are themselves. That's not necessarily what I see on television. You understand what I'm saying? Those are not role models for me. And that's why when people say, oh my goodness, why did you do that? Why is Justin Bieber acting crazy? Because he didn't ask to be a role model. He asked to be an entertainer. And people got it twisted. They think that because successful people or rich people are in the spotlight, they're role models. No, I'm a role model. She's a role model. She's a role model. He's a role model. You know why? Because we're making a difference in younger people's lives and older people's lives who's looking at us and looking at our books and reading our information and making a difference in your life. And like I told her earlier, if you change but one life, then you've done the will of God. That's the role model.
Role models start at home.
Thank you.
That's
Yeah,
where
I
role
agree.
models
I
start.
agree.
Role model
Mother and
starts
father.
with role model starts with the parents, and I believe it starts with father. I think if you have a strong father, you have a strong household because you'll make the wife strong because the wife is going to automatically do her job because she got a strong man, and then it trickles down into the children. So it all starts at home. It doesn't start in school. It doesn't start at a friend's house, or it starts at home. Teachers can be role models. Athletes can be role models, but the bottom line is the foundation is at home. When you have that strong father mother figure, the children are going to go places. So that's where it all starts
What
at.
if they don't have a good
Right,
father and a mother?
exactly. Most
Well,
households don't have a
Have that.
two-parent
But-
household these
but
days.
But
that's-
it's
Some
because
don't
it's a
have a
domino.
one-parent
It's a bad
household.
domino effect. So
Yeah.
I mean, if your grandparents weren't good role models, the children aren't going to be good role models, and it's gonna keep following itself.
But
So
what if
it
everybody's
has to.
jacked up?
Excuse
What
me.
if, I said, but what if everybody's jacked up?
Then
Like,
you got a major issue there.
then
You
that's, but they're
have
not
because
role
you don't know
models.
where you don't
And
know where to
that's-
cut in there and just make everything better. So it all starts with the man. It all starts with the man. If a man,
Now that
if
I
you
agree
can,
with.
if you can have a strong man, if you can somehow, because a lot of men out there don't know their left foot from their right foot. But if you can have a strong man, he can affect a strong woman. Even if her mind is, if she's astray and her mind is misled, he can somehow have some kind of positive effect on her, and she's gonna like, wow, I got me a strong man here. Well, let me see if I can do this to make this, a strong household. Especially if you have children involved. So it's one domino knocks down another.
I agree with the strong man, but also for that man to be strong, he has to have a woman that's just as strong. behind him,
Absolutely,
you
absolutely.
know, because before you have these children, you should know the strength of each other to have these children, because that man can't succeed without having that right woman behind him.
Absolutely.
To push him and to motivate him.
Absolutely.
To do the things that he
Absolutely.
needs to
We
do.
need that.
Okay. All right. We're gonna close this episode right now, and we have. Okay. I'd like to thank my guests for a fantastic show. Okay. And stay tuned for part 2, maybe part 3 of this show also. But yeah, if you want to get in touch with this show, email me at Aaron8757 on MSN.com. If you want to become a part of the audience, or you have a question, or you have something that you want to say, a comment or anything, or rebuttal, you can contact me at that also. And just remember that until we know better, we can't do any better. I'm just saying. What happened to the telephone?
It's a
All
wrap.
right, no, it can't. We got
Got another half.
we got another half.
They said 3:30.
Who said 3:30? Where's
I know it's 4 o'clock, ain't it?
Ray? Can you get Rob for me? Just ask Rob to come in here.